Since we're recording, so the majority will be able to access this workshop even after our actual event. Let me just quickly start while people gathering with an introduction of the community to those of you who might have been new or not knowing what Miraverse is. So I'll start with myself. My name is Natalie Nedry, and I'm a community marketing manager at Miro, and specifically Miraverse. And I welcome you to our Miraverse community webinar. For those of you who may not know, Miraverse is a library of over 3,000 templates created by our community of users to kickstart your projects in Miro. And I'm going to share a link to Miraverse in a Zoom chat so that you can explore it later. And today, one of our Miraverse creators, Miraverse community members, Johanny, is hosting a webinar on generative AI product discovery sprint and how to use AI solutions for creating use cases and business value exploration. And before we start, just a couple more housekeeping details. After today's event, there are several ways you can continue getting involved with the Miraverse community. As I mentioned, 3,000 Miraverse templates are available for you to use, adapt, and up-level your work. But the fun thing is you can also submit your own templates to Miraverse and become a creator yourself. So again, a link to submitting a template just appeared in the Zoom chat. And this simple action will open up the door to a growing community of experts like Johanny across diverse fields. And this will introduce you to lots of Miro-supported platforms, including our blog events, like distributed or like this one. So you will be able to also host your webinars and more. And that's all for housekeeping. On behalf of the Miro team, I thank you for joining us today and being part of this vibrant community. And I'm passing the mic to Johanny. Just enjoy today's workshop.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Natalie, for the introduction, and welcome everybody once again for this activity. As you all know, we're going to discuss generative AI product discovery strategies. And I would like to remind you that this is going to be a hands-on event. It's going to be very practical. We're going to have group discussions and brainstorming and ideation sessions. We're not going to talk about selecting or how to use GenAI tools or how to prompt engineer in case there may be some expectations around it. It will be pretty much on product discovery. So brainstorming how we can leverage AI capabilities to solve business tasks, business challenges, and pain points in your specific business areas. So as discussed, we are gonna leverage SAP AppHaus toolkit on generative AI. And I hope this is of value for you. As a reminder, we are recording this session, and the idea is that you have this recording available for your review and in your team, and also if you would like to have some review of the insights that we generate at the workshop. Also, you're going to have view access to the board after the event so that you can leverage all these insights with your own team and if you would like to organize a similar workshop. So having said this, I would like to say some words about me. My name is Johanny Pestalozzi. Or Johanny, if you're an English speaker or German speaker. I am originally from the Dominican Republic, and I'm based in Zurich, and I'm a senior digital product manager. I have more than 12 years of cumulative work experience across different industries, working as a product and project manager, researcher, and UX designer. And I have worked for different organizations in different industries for product projects, including software as a service, retail, education, biotech, banking, and consulting. And I hold a PhD in technology, risk perception, and risk governance. So having said this, a little bit about our agenda today. We're going to have first an icebreaker and an introduction of the participants in the session. Then we will go right into the product discovery and use cases, brainstorming, and then we're going to have a business case brief and an introduction to the technical and ethical components for ideating or identifying generative AI product opportunities. And we will finalize with a retrospective and a closure. So without further ado, let's go directly into the icebreaker. I have selected this template actually from our Metaverse platform and database, which is very practical. I'm always excited to know where people come from when they join these workshops. So now that you have access to the board, I would like you to join me to this map where you can hit the key C on your keyboard and you will have this comment option. And you can place it in the region of the world where you are located. And inside the comment, please write your name, your location, your job title and company, and the experiences or concerns that you have related to generative AI. So let's do this in 5 minutes, and then we're going to have a quick round of introductions in the room. So let's go for it. Remember to hit C on your keyboard so that you can have the comments option. So you press C on the keyboard and then you just place it in the region of the world you're located. You can zoom in, and let's say if you're in France, you can just place the comments here and then write your name and so on. Here's an example of how it will look like in the end.
Okay, we have 8 people joining, so I assume the majority have already placed their intros.
Looks super cool. It seems that everybody has already placed comments. Okay, so it is the case. So I will then simply stop the timer, and we can go directly into the introductions. Natalie, if you like, you can let the people in, and then they can join us now.
What kind of people?
Oh, I thought you mentioned that there are some people in the waiting room.
No, I mentioned that we have 8 people joining us, and what you exactly did, that probably the majority already left the comments, and we can move to introductions.
Right, perfect. Just got it. Thank you. Good. So let's go then directly into it. We have a single participant from North America, so I will give the word to you, Robin. Please say some, read what you wrote, and yeah, we would like to know about you. Okay, if you're still in the group. All right, so Robin is no longer there.
Oh, you know what? I'm here. I'm so sorry. I was on mute.
No worries. Please go ahead.
Okay, and I can come off camera if that's helpful. So my name is Robin Yarrow. I'm in Denver, Colorado. I'm a product manager with a consulting company called Epon Technologies. And I've been working with a team within Epon working on doing innovation with generative AI and using Miro to do a lot of ideation, planning, and that type of thing.
Amazing. Thanks a lot for joining us, Robin.
Thank you.
Perfect. So here we have Alexandra. Please unmute yourself and let us know who you are.
Yeah, hello, nice to meet you. I'm a developer, originally from Ukraine, mainly web developer. Previously also worked for a PAM system and currently for Preva Netherlands. Like I'm using generative AI mostly as a consumer for image generation mostly, and now I'm trying to dive in code generation.
Amazing, very exciting. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Sure. So here we have Shane. I'm not sure if I pronounce your name correctly.
Yes, you do.
Perfect. So let us know who you are and why you're here.
So I'm Shane Smart. I've been a change management professional for the last, 14 years, and I use a lot of workshops for alignment, discovery, change management, and bring teams through the strategy. And I use GenAI generally to primarily actually as a thought partner, which I think is an underused aspect of it. What I didn't write here is, but I wrote thought sparring partners. So I generate a series of different personas within the AI that represent customers or different people within the audiences. And then I spar with them about the views. And the joy of doing that with AI is that I can turn off all the social filters. So I can ask it to have a very, very frank conversation about underlying motives. It's hard to get AIs to do that, but when you do, it's very revealing.
Interesting. Amazing. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Perfect. And we have Ellie here.
Yeah, hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So yeah, I'm working on a platform which is a learning platform for our teachers to create interactive experiences with 360 content, XR content. And the last thing we added recently was the ability to add avatars powered by AI, and the idea to have something quite easy for teacher to create an experience where you can learn language or learn a different kind of thing quite easily. But it's difficult to create an easy tool with AI. So
Amazing.
possible.
Perfect. Great to have you here. So we have Natalie and I, we already introduced each other at the beginning, but Natalie, if you'd like to say some more words, maybe your concerns around GenAI.
Thank you for asking me. So yeah, I would say probably I'm using GenAI pretty generally as a marketing manager for some messaging, positioning verification, but also would love to expand to some more use cases that I can adapt. Plus, I'm not really sure, for example, now what information is secure / ethical to put there and how will it be used. But probably this question is a matter of some other workshop.
Absolutely. But it's a very great point to keep in mind every time we're using GenAI to have this critical mindset, where is the source of the content and what are the ethical components around the data management, right? So yeah, perfect. So thanks a lot. And then from my side, I'm very interested in exploring business opportunities with GenAI across all industries. So I look forward to exchanging some thoughts with you and exploring how we can leverage this toolkit for our work. So thank you so much, everybody, for sharing your thoughts and for participating in this workshop. Moving on, I prepared this brief introduction into GenAI so that we all have the same understanding of what are its capabilities. And this is a video, it's a brief one. So I would like to play it. It's relatively short, so please pay attention and then we can move on to the next activities.
Generative AI involves using machine learning algorithms to create new content, such as images, music, text, software code, or even designing new structures or products. It is the fastest growing of 5 advanced AI capabilities within our artificial intelligence value chain. The generative AI landscape is continuously evolving and can be divided into 6 key areas: image, code, text, video, speech, and design. ChatGPT, a buzzword in the tech world right now, is a large language model, or LLM, developed by OpenAI. LLMs are designed to learn from vast amounts of text data and use that knowledge to generate responses to questions or prompts with human fluency. While chatbots have been around for some time, ChatGPT goes beyond typical query answering features. Based on user input, for instance, it can generate and debug codes, write essays, and
Oops, apologies. I will try to restore it.
contract management, customer management, and data augmentation, as well as dynamic interaction, generative design, process management, and product development. The generative AI market is nascent in terms of commercial deployments. However, due to its disruptive potential, the market is attracting significant investment from both established tech players and startups. OpenAI has emerged as the most prominent startup in the generative AI landscape, with image generator DALL-E and ChatGPT launched in December 2022. Big tech companies such as Google and Microsoft are increasingly aggressive in the generative AI space. Microsoft has integrated ChatGPT within its Bing search engine and Edge web browser, while Google has launched the Bard AI chatbot. Salesforce has developed Einstein GPT, which creates sales and marketing content. It also announced a $250 million fund to foster a startup ecosystem in generative AI. Adobe and NVIDIA have partnered to co-develop a new generation of advanced generative AI models. Developments in this space are happening at a pace that makes it difficult for regulators to keep up. However, regulations are being considered as concerns over data privacy, misinformation, and cybersecurity grow. In an unstable world, foresight is crucial for success.
Perfect. So now we know what are the different capabilities of generative AI. Maybe several of us are already using the technology and are testing it. And today's workshop is going to support us into understanding in which way we can create products with generative AI that can support our respective business areas. So before we move on, I would like to share some pro tips into using Miro in case you are new with the tool. There are some basic tasks that you can leverage, that you can do while using Miro. So for undoing, you can press Ctrl+C and you undo any activity. For duplicate, Ctrl+D. And normally you can zoom in and out just by scrolling into the screen, in or out of the screen. And you can just simply select an area by changing from the pointer to the pan by pressing H or V on your keyboard. So let's move on directly to the activities.
Plus, sorry for interrupting. I would also suggest to use a follow feature. So on the top right corner, there are participants' icons, and there is also Juhani's icon, which I suggest you to click on so that you will land on her view of the board. So that way you will never get lost.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Natalie. Perfect. So let's go directly into the activity. This is the brainstorming part. I will bring you all to this section so that we are all here. The first part is that you get aware of what are the different opportunities of generative AI in a structured way. We have already watched the video. We see an overview of the different capabilities in terms of text generation, images, design, etc. SAP has grouped all these different functions into these 7 main characteristics. On this left-hand side, they have inserted these different cards on GenAI opportunities. And the structure of these cards is the following. First, they present a GenAI opportunity, let's say a title, in this case, a streamlined content generation. And then they list the different capabilities that GenAI can support with this particular opportunity. For example, generating new text, creating images and graphics, generating narrated text, among others. And then they finalize with a question for ideation in case you are already brainstorming with your team. What are scenarios that you can envision for which you can leverage this capability of GenAI in your team? On the right-hand side, they provide different examples or scenarios in which streamlined content generation is used in different industries or use cases in the team. For example, e-commerce, language learning, news and media, etc. So this is how these cards are structured. This is just for you so that you know what you can expect from this toolkit. As I mentioned, there are 7 main capabilities or opportunities to leverage GenAI. They are listed here. The first one is information processing and understanding, then support automatic decision-making. Then we have streamlined content creation, streamlined tests and simulations with realistic-looking data, then simplifying access to information and knowledge, get coding assistance, and finally, explore diverse suggestions and ideas. So in the course of the workshop, you will have the opportunity to come to this section, and then you can zoom into the card and you can go in more detail. What are the different tasks that you can complete with GenAI within these themes, as well as some examples so that you can better understand how it can be applied. So just for the moment, just keep in mind that the tools, the cards are here. These are the different opportunities you have, from content generation to easing access to information, simplifying decision-making, getting coding, streamlining processes, and exploring suggestions or generating ideas directly. So going back to this part, we're gonna now brainstorm. We're gonna reflect a little bit. What are the processes and activities in your specific business areas that need to be improved and why? So essentially, if you're familiar with personas, is to understand what are current pain points in your team, in the processes that you do at work. What are these activities that you believe may need some support? And later on, we will discuss in depth how GenAI can help you with. So we're going to dedicate 10 minutes for this part. Simply shift to the selection. You can press H or V to change between pan and select. And you can select one of these sticky notes and just place it here in this area below. You can enlarge the sticky note if you need some more space. And you can double click on top of the sticky note and then start typing your idea. And if you would like to present it, briefly discuss it afterwards, you can select one of these robots icons that I inserted here and just place it next to your sticky note as is indicated in the example here. So if there is no questions around, we can go directly into the activity. Is that all right? So it seems that it is okay, so let's go for it. 10 minutes. Simply, essentially pain points in your team that you think need to be improved. I forgot to mention, please include in brackets the business area for which you're listing this pain point. So it could be sales, marketing, administration, general management, etc. All right. So I see that everybody has already completed their sticky notes. So I will pause the time now. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your thoughts on this. Nobody took one of the robots, but I believe maybe you forgot. So I will just ask in the group if someone would like to briefly introduce to your sticky notes and let us know what you wrote. Just feel free to mute yourself and let us know what you wrote.
Could we
Sorry,
place
Johanny,
robots?
could you remind us what the robots were for?
Yeah, essentially it was just to know where I should focus to ask for presentations. So if you wanted to present your sticky note in the group, essentially you just needed to select it and just place it next to your sticky note.
Gotcha, thank you.
All right, thank you. Perfect. So we already have here some volunteers. So the person who wrote this one, just Robin, if you would like to just let us know what you wrote.
Sure. I'm laughing because the robot on your screen looks different than the one on my screen. So interesting. Okay. Okay, so yeah, knowledge management. You know, I'm like I said with a consulting company, and so quickly finding resources, you know, when you're talking to a new client or working on a new project, maybe a new technical area or something. Things are kind of scattered around. There's, you know, stuff on the Google Drive. There's stuff in our like messaging tool. There's we have another tool that we use for kind of like knowledge management. We have an intranet. Like things are scattered, and finding the right information that you need and the latest version and knowing who owns it and all that good stuff is hard.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for these insights. Then we move on to this sticky note. If you would like to let us know what you wrote here, the person who wrote this one, education and marketing.
Yeah, maybe about the education sticky notes. One of the challenges we want to address is how the teacher can find a way to evaluate the student, knowing that for today, if you ask them to write an essay, they can easily ask ChatGPT to write the essay on a specific topic, and you already have some generated content. So how, as a teacher, you can make sure that students are actually learning without using themselves AI to escape the real purpose of the learning.
Interesting. Perfect. And then we have marketing. Well, it doesn't have a robot, but I will read it. Create consistent marketing content, faster social media website. Perfect. So, and here we have other two participants who would like to read it. Or if you recognize your sticky note, feel free to unmute yourself and read them.
These are light green sticky notes, so maybe a person is just on Miro and not seeing where you're pointing. That's
Okay.
about updating email content regularly and creating use cases in a business object.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Natalie. And the final two around code testing. So essentially, it's app basis for unit and integration tests in development. And then also development and management, email client assistant, aggregate emails, accept input from users. Okay, so we have a diversity of pain points in different business areas, from development to marketing, and then education and product management. We're going to move on now to the next section right below this one. So the idea now is that you look at the pain points that you just wrote and review the opportunity cards that we discussed initially, and try to identify in which way any of these opportunities can help you solve the problems that you listed. So once you have identified a card that contains some way that GenAI can support you with, you will draft a scenario or a use case for this application. And here, the SAP AppHaus team has created this kind of wording that can help us draft this scenario. And they say, we can use GenAI to help, and then you say who, to, and then the activity that that GenAI could help with, so that, and then the objective. And here they provide an example, and one is that we can use GenAI to help IT support teams to assist customers in real time with troubleshooting and technical issues through a conversational interface or a chatbot, so that, or in order to reduce their workload while increasing customer satisfaction. So it was drafted from the point of view of the IT support team, but you can also draft it from the point of view of customers or your team in particular. So again, reflect again on the pain point that you have.
Johanny, can I ask you a question here?
Sure.
So, can you please give an example using, for example, the sticky note that you've listed above? I believe it was a purple one. So what your actions will be? So you have the sticky note, you need to navigate to the cards after that, right?
Exactly. So the set of actions would be essentially this one. So first, you go to your sticky note, you go and read it. Let's say organizing content of different formats, PDF files, web links, etc. Then you understand, okay, I need something that can help me organize content. Then you go to this area on the left-hand side. Here we have all the different cards, as we discussed initially. We have ease of information, streamlined content creation, etc. So you go through these different cards and you try to find any of these opportunities that can help you solve the problems that you have. If you think that in some way any of these cards, any of them provide you with a solution, you just can try to, just for the sake of the workshop and the exercise, select an opportunity that you think could be useful in some way connected to your business problem. I would say we could complement this set of cards with artificial intelligence functionalities that are not necessarily generative AI. But for this workshop in particular, we will try to leverage the opportunities of generative AI. So again, with your business problem, then you come to this section, you select a card, an opportunity from GenAI, you read what are the different options around these headlines, these topics, and then you come back to this area. And in this area, you select a sticky note. Again, you can duplicate it or just select and drag and drop it here. You can also enlarge it. And here you're going to write a text like this scenario sentence that they have provided here. We can use GenAI to help us so that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So you can try to guide yourself with these texts. We can use GenAI to help, and then you say the team or who, business function, to, then the activity, the task that you want to help address, so that, and then the why, the business value that is obtained out of it. And here's an example so that you can get some guidance on this. Is there any question before we go directly into the activity? Okay, so while you're looking at the cards, I will try to draft this text so that you have it ready and you can just copy and paste it in your respective sticky notes. And if you have any questions, please feel free to write it in the chat, and Natalie and I will be super happy to answer them and support you in this process. So let's dedicate 10 minutes for this, and then we will discuss in the group what we have found out. Let's go for it. And don't forget to place a robot icon next to your sticky note in case you would like to present your idea in the group. Minutes left, 2.5 minutes. Okay, so it seems that everybody's ready, so we can just go directly into the discussion. Okay, so we can start with Funda, if you would like to unmute yourself and let us know what you wrote.
I think this time it will work. It's working, right?
Yes.
Good, you can hear me. Yeah, this was related to my post-it before up that I wanted to get actually clearer understanding of the use cases from business units. That's why I articulated as we can use generative AI to help business units to get different solution idea proposals in order to address their pain points to achieve their use cases. In the context I am using, I think I selected simplify access to the information. It should be that one.
Perfect.
I think so.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good point. In case you would like to run a similar workshop with your team, I believe it would be useful to place the opportunity card right next to the sticky note so that you can review it afterwards. But yeah,
Sure.
Thanks a lot for letting us know.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Good. Is there anybody else who would like to present his or her ideas leveraging GenAI? Didn't see any other participant placing the robot. In that case, I would like to read out loud my card or suggestion. And it says, we can use GenAI to help product management teams to organize different types of files and finding them easily in order to reduce time spent archiving and finding relevant content. So I envision this essentially whenever there is new content that I have available, there could be some kind of shortcut, some type of app installed in our laptops that we call that app and that can help us, that can provide us some suggestions into how to better organize the new content or the new file type that we have. And then it will bring it directly to where it belongs. And then in a similar way, maybe through a chatbot or a shortcut in the application, we can just type in the type of content that we're looking for, let's say PDF file on futures thinking, and then it provides us with some suggestions of what type of file it could be, and then can bring us directly to where the file is. So that's essentially the idea.
So just to be sure I understand, so the chatbot I get, but the other application you're saying would recognize that you're adding new content somewhere, or?
Exactly. So it's in some way two functions of this kind of product. The first one is, well, once I have a new type of content that I have, let's say it's a PDF or a website or a text note, I would like to store it easily without having to click into folders, which is something that I regularly do. Then you have to go and find a new path or create a new folder or so, or on, right? So I would like to reduce that time that I spend doing this, and I envision some type of application that is running on my computer that is previously installed and that I can easily call, let's say via a shortcut. Let's say if I press Shift A, then the application pops up. Or if I right-click the file, let's say itself, if I right-click the PDF file, one of the options could be call this GenAI tool, and then this tool can pop up some kind of window and ask me in which way I would like to organize it, and maybe provide some suggestions or so on. So right now it's just a very general view of how that tool may look like, but the idea is to have such an application that can ease the process of organizing this kind of new content. And once I have found a path to organize the content by labeling it, this application brings that file directly to that folder. So that I don't need to know where the folder is necessarily, or what is the chain of folders, the structure in it, but rather I know that it's stored somewhere where it's meaningful and I can find it. And later on, when I need it, then I can just simply call the application again via the shortcut, and then type in the type of, let's say by the keywords of that file, and I can easily retrieve it in some way, maybe by selecting content that the application shows that seems relevant to me, and or helping me with some kind of chat, better identify what is the right file that I'm looking for. So that's more or less the idea with this application.
Okay, thanks.
Sure, thank you for asking. So is there any other idea, any other person would like to present your suggestions using GenAI?
I don't mean to make it, I don't want to trivialize it anyway, but actually it's a power of the framework that by stating the value proposition in these cards, it makes it kind of obvious what the answers are going to be. Mm-hmm. Like the cards I find super exciting, but the answer is like kind of just racking it out. It's kind of clear what it is once you have the card.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but nevertheless, having the different functionalities of GenAI structured in this way can help us better identify products that may be meaningful to solve specific business problems. So the intention here is to somehow match the two worlds. On one hand, problems, tasks that we do regularly in our specific activities, business units, and then functionalities of GenAI, and then bring these two worlds together and see in which way GenAI can help solve those problems. And maybe this could be a product in itself, like we can feed in a GenAI chatbot with all these different cards, the content of these cards. And let's say, considering this content, what could be a relevant GenAI product or feature that can help me solve this problem? So this is actually something
I'm so excited you said that, because Miro Assist will do exactly what you described.
Yeah, exactly. So our task then after this workshop would be to extract all these different functions, put it maybe in an Excel file or so, or text document, and then fit it into a chatbot, let's say a GenAI chatbot, and then draft a prompt and ask the chatbot what could be a possible application for GenAI for our specific business units. But for now, we try to leverage our own creativity to see in which way we can leverage it. All right, so if there is no more volunteers to present, we're gonna go directly into the voting section. And now we're gonna spend a couple of minutes, I would say 5 maximum, so that you place a dot. You can hit H or V again on your keyboard. You select one of these dots and you place it on top or next to the sticky note that you believe has an interesting application of generative AI. You can place as many dots as you like, and in the end, we will then select a use case to move on to the next activity. So let's spend 5 minutes here, and let's go for it.
Sorry, how many votes did we get?
You can use as many as you like. Just please vote one per idea. All right, so it seems that everybody already voted. So to save some time, I would say we can then wrap up this section. And as there are three use cases that have been voted the most, I would kindly ask the authors to briefly present them in the group so that we can get a better understanding, and then we can finalize selecting one of them. So I already introduced the idea, my idea. So I would like to kindly ask Natalia, if you would like to better explain to us what you meant with your idea.
Yes, absolutely. So as a marketing specialist, or I believe that product teams can also utilize this. We are working with user personas that have certain characteristics from like basic geographic roles, etc., to some really specific that determine their decision-making, behaviors, etc. And if we could enter this into the GenAI product, for example, then ideally we should be able to test any marketing triggered campaigns, even just messages for some campaigns, and verify if this resonates with the personas that we created in the beginning. And this will help us to validate kind of user flows, the campaigns that we are building, without involving a developer, a product marketing analyst, but with GenAI to validate what resonates the most, what has the most potential, and maybe even I don't know, predict some metrics out of it.
Fantastic. Sounds very interesting. Thanks a lot for the presentation. Cool. So then we can move on to the next suggestion here for teachers. Maybe the author, if you could please let us know a little bit more about your idea.
Yeah, sure. So the idea here would be to find a way for teacher to easily create a way to evaluate the student. And what is time consuming is to create content. So obviously we will share the same content to all students. And so with AI, we could have a specific learning objective, and the pedagogical objective could be then split in different scenarios for each student. So we'd have a discussion with an avatar about learning how to use the past tense in a specific language, and you could have different outputs for each student, so you can evaluate.
Perfect.
Let's say.
Perfect. So this means that.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
I think it was Ellie said about the teachers one. Do you mean so that the content is specific to each student?
Yes, that would be the objective. So you have a specific pedagogical theme, and you want each student to answer to this objective, but for each of them, the scenario would be different.
Perfect. So this also means that you would have a persona of the different type of students you have, like the learning styles, right? So, are you still in the group, or can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
What do you mean about learning style?
Yeah, like how would you customize the training content? I mean, you would need to train the GenAI application in some way so that you can get the customized training content. That means that you would need like personas or a different type of, like you may need some kind of assessment to understand how you can customize the content. Is it clear, my question?
Yes, obviously you cannot just ask the AI to generate some content. You have to have some objective, what the student is supposed to learn, what is already knowing, and what the type of question you can ask. So, but instead of listing all the question, you can you could ask the AI to generate some content.
Okay, perfect. So you mean that the training would be customized based on the objectives and not necessarily on the learning style. So, but specifically what you want to achieve with them. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. The idea is to adapt to different type of student.
Okay. Good, perfect. And then the final idea is the one that I presented initially, which is to help manage new content and easily find it. So now we have these three main ideas. The goal is that we have a final vote, one dot only per person, and you place it next to the idea that you like the most. The one for the marketing, to test user flows and validate them before you create a campaign and you see what may be the response. The other is to customize training content for teachers. And the third idea is to help organize content for product management teams. So let's spend 2 minutes in this, and then we will discuss in the group. Some way I lost the timer. Natalie, do you have access still to the timer? I don't have the option anymore.
Yes, I can. And did you turn on the private mode?
No, I didn't. I also got that option. Turn off private mode for all. Yeah. So I think maybe Ishita may have done that unintentionally, but it's off now.
So is it the three with the green arrows?
Excuse me?
Are we voting on the three with the green arrows?
Exactly, yes. I tried to label them A, B, C, but yeah, it's exactly those three. And essentially just select one of those, place a dot to one of those ideas that you like the most.
Surprisingly,
got
I
it.
also don't have timer.
Very interesting. It's okay. We're just exploring this.
It's back.
Yeah. All right, so I see that everybody is ready in some way. So let's see how many dots we got here. 3, 6, 7, 3, 5, 7. Okay, so we got a tie between A and B. Very interesting. Maybe I would
Let's move with the teacher solution so that we support the idea from one of the community members.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot, Natalie. This is very generous. So we're gonna focus on this idea. We can use GenAI to help teachers to create customized training content in order to help learners engage while limiting cheating. Very interesting. Good. So we're gonna focus on this idea. And before we move on to the next step, I would like to briefly introduce you to these 3 briefs that are provided in this toolkit. Essentially, there are 3 views in which we can design or strategize a product, a GenAI product. One is a business view, the second is a technical view, and the third is the ethical view. Today, we're going to focus on the business case brief, the business point of view, but I would like you to know that the other 2 types or the other 2 views are available in this toolkit, and you can have a look at this after the workshop if you would like to use this toolkit with your team to identify relevant business opportunities leveraging GenAI. So when we talk about the business view, essentially what you do is first we start with the target user roles. Who are the people what is the business unit that will benefit from this application? Then, and of course, the roles within this unit. Then, what is the main business benefit of this application, or what are different benefits that there are available? It could be an internal benefit or external one with customers. Then you go into the relevance indicators, and they have identified 3 main topics. One is the reach. How many potential users does the solution have? Is it small? Is it few, some, or many? You can, of course, just take assumptions to answer this part later on. Then what is the strategic relevance? How important is the solution to achieve the organization's targets? Also, again, make assumptions, but assuming that you are understanding what are the business goals of the organization for the quarter or the year, you can already start reflecting in which way these features, these GenAI applications can help achieve those goals. And finally, what is the business value? How would you rate the business impact of your solution idea? Let's say how much money can be saved or how much money can be generated by deploying this application. Then you go into challenges or optimizations. What are potential challenges that may be that are being addressed with GenAI, and what activities are being optimized and how? So just simply bullet points, how can you help, let's say, reduce time, how you can reduce or improve products or resources optimization, resources use, etc. And then finally, what is the process steps in which this application would be used? this case, it was about the job posting generation in SAP. And the steps were essentially first job in SAP, prompt generation, job posting text generation, human user review, and then publication on job. So it was essentially for them to help the team, the HR team, to post job descriptions on their portal. So it's just for you to start reflecting in which way this tool may be used, let's say end-to-end, from the moment in which a user starts interacting with the application to the moment in which there is an output that is delivered either to the same user or to other users, in case it is an end-to-end tool. So this is essentially the view of this card. These are some components. Of course, there are so many other aspects that may be included. If you like, you can, of course, add them in a sticky note and just place it somewhere. If you think that other business criteria could be included in such a brief, that could be extended for your specific business units, or that could be relevant for other teams. And then we have the technical view. And here essentially is to reflect a little bit on the data that is needed for such an application to be created. The data sources, the type of the data, let's say emails, request texts, booking system data, etc. This is for this specific business case. Apologies for the blurred images. You can have this high quality image from the PDF directly from SAP AppHaus Toolkit. The purpose today is essentially so that you know that there is a technical view on this, that there is an analysis or reflection of the team on the data that would be required and that could be provided internally in the team, or that you may need to invest some money into collecting it and getting it externally. And then there are GenAI limitation cards, so that you start reflecting what could be potential challenges of implementing this application from a technology point of view. And some of them are to perform calculations reliably, to provide explanations or reasoning behind the output, to ensure that the model always behaves ethically, to learn from new data on the fly, to produce convincing yet false answers, and to ensure a consistent and predictable output. So maybe you have some other ideas in mind. They may fall in any of these cards or new ones, but it's just a start point for teams to start identifying potential challenges that may occur once they have a GenAI product deployed. And finally, we have the ethical view, also to let teams start reflecting on what are potential ethical aspects behind their GenAI products. One of them could be processing identifiable personal data, processing sensitive personal data, automated decision-making, depending on the use cases. Let's say if it's in healthcare or in banking, finance, and insurance, which is a very high risk in sector. And then negatively affecting individuals. Of course, it's a very broad area, but in some way it could affect people. And then high risks applications. Of course, this is group. There are tools that can help complement this toolkit that are specialized on ethical assessment of artificial intelligence. But yeah, it's just for you to know that these two other tools or cards help complement the discussion and the brainstorming around these use cases. So coming back to the teachers solution or GenAI application for helping teachers customize content for their students, we're going to focus on the business view. And in this part, we will go section by section to answer the different parts of this card in the group. And at the end, we will go briefly through the different answers we have. We're going to start with the target user roles. Considering the idea that we just selected, again, help teachers customize content for their students, what could be the users, or who could be the target end users for such an application? Let's spend 3 minutes on this, and then we will move on to the next part. Okay, so it seems that everybody completed this within 1 minute. This was quite a simple part. So we can move on directly to the next section, which is main business benefits. Seeing a school or a university as a business, what could be the potential benefits of such a tool for these user roles? What makes this solution valuable for this particular use case? Again, let's spend 3 minutes on this and then we'll move on to the next part. All right, so it seems that everybody finalized this part. So we can move on to the next section, which is relevance indicators. Again, it's about reach, strategic relevance, and business value. Here, we will select a dot from this part from the top and essentially place it in the direction that we think this application can have the highest impact. So again, let's spend 2 to 3 minutes in this part, and then we'll move on to the next one. And of course, it's based on assumptions, right? Because it's a kind of general concept that we have now. Okay, so, okay, we're done with this part, looks like. So let's go directly to the challenges or optimizations. Here, the questions are, what challenges are being addressed for this particular use case, and what activities are being optimized and how? So again, you can put yourself in the context of a teacher wanting to provide customers, students, to help them improve their learning or better get the content, and they want to customize content that is provided. So what are the challenges that you believe are being addressed whenever a teacher is trying to use this tool, and activities that are being optimized by implementing it? We're going to spend here 5 minutes to give us some time to reflect this in depth. Again, you can use a sticky note and draft your answers in it, and we will then discuss in the group. Let's go for it. It seems that we're done also with this part, or no? Amazing. So we're done with this part, and we can go directly into process steps with GenAI. So now the idea is that you envision a little bit how you believe this tool could work from the moment a teacher, in this case, any of the end users that you have identified here, starts using the application to the moment of output when the target is generated. So take a sticky note and simply, you can use commas to separate one step from the other, and list there what would be the process that you believe could be followed for this application to work properly and deliver the output that is intended. So let's spend 5 minutes here, and then we will discuss in the group. Right, time's up. I will now go briefly through our answers, and after that, I will kindly ask you to share with us what are your thoughts with this tool, how you felt while you were answering it, and if you still have some questions around some specific parts of this card. So let's start with the target user roles. Here we have students, teachers, course designers, test assessors, curriculum providers, directors, counselors. So we understand that this tool could be used both by teachers as well as students. Then the business benefits behind this tool is enhanced learning, ensure students achieve course educational goals, reduce time to prepare teaching content, customize content more engaging for the student. Of course, we would need to validate the product to make sure that it achieves these goals, but that would be the intention, to have teachers spend less time to prepare while not sacrificing the quality of work, stop training GPT AI models on the course content, evaluating the IP of the course owner. That's a bit technical. Level the playing field for digitally disadvantaged kids. On-the-fly content, more difficult to look for ready-made answers or to only learn by heart. That's true. So that's a very interesting point of view. There is a part of inclusiveness or accessibility, let's say, to support digitally disadvantaged kids to get more access to this kind of content. And of course, reduce time for preparation and enhance learning for students. Then we have relevance indicators. It seems that we predominantly think that it may reach many teachers and students. It's of high strategic relevance in terms of teaching or, let's say, learning institution. And finally, business value is of relatively high point of view in terms of what is the impact of this solution towards the goals of a teaching institution. And then some of the challenges or optimizations that are being addressed with this is to ensure learning objectives, to ensure the quality of learning outcome increases, personalization without additional preparation time, diversity, quality, and accessibility in teaching, different learning interests and styles, reduce time spent in preparing teaching content, generation of new content, and original tests that challenges students. I believe in this point, the technical as well as the ethical components are essential to understand first what is the source, what is the data needed to ensure that we have relevant content available for the students, and then make sure that we have high quality content for the students. And then what is the source, right? Like, are we addressing the right content? So that would mean for some countries, actually, content that is taught in public schools is stated by the government, like a Ministry of Education or so. So that means that this application may need to have access to these tools, and we would then need to ensure that the copyrights are also in place, for example. That is not necessarily content from the web, but it's actually obtained from relevant sources, just to keep in mind this kind of data-related aspects and ethical issues. And then moving on to the process steps, this is a very interesting one. Shane Dedicated, I believe, was the author of this one. Maybe the author who created this could present it to us in more detail.
Are you talking about the yellow one?
Okay.
Did you want me to talk to it? Yeah.
Yes,
so
please.
I just wanted to draw it as a process step because I realized that if we just work in singular post-its, we can't move around and change the points. And I think it's a really iterative process with a couple of iterative stages. I like once you start thinking, what can I do with AI? You might as well just do everything with AI. So you've already got your course, you already know what your objectives are, you already know what level the students are, and you've got a profile on them. So you might as well just feed all of that in and then generate the test. And this is the iterative bit. So you generate the test, and because you have the personas of the students, you can generate personas and then get the personas to run the test, and then you can adjust the test appropriately. So just in case you miss something really obvious, like half your students turn out to be from another country, and so they miss a whole bunch of words because they come from a Latin country and they miss the Germanic words. So it runs through, changes them all, and then you can issue the test to the students, assess their performance, and then the AI should also look at the distribution of the student performance to determine whether or not it is creating a test which is creating the right distribution, feed that back to itself, and also tell the educators, hey, your students overall are weak in these areas, and you should put some more work into them to help them in the next part.
Amazing. Wow. This is great. I
It's
feel
an
like
idea,
I would
right?
really-
Somebody has to make it.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I would really like to see this product in the market.
I'd
Sounds
like to
really
use
great. Thanks a lot. Actually, I wonder, to make this product work, you may need to constantly create new personas of the students, because let's say you have new courses in every semester, and not only that, but you also have a learning curve. So this may be changing quite rapidly. So how could we ensure that we are feeding the model with the right data in an easy way? What do you think? What do you have in mind?
I think that's an excellent question.
Mm.
That's the right question to ask. So I just updated it. So feed personalized individual student profiles into it.
Mhm.
So
That
when
means
it's
that-
generating the test for each group of students, it's looking at each student's profile each time.
Right.
Because the cost of personalization like that is so low.
Amazing. I mean, it's such an impactful, such a powerful product, I would say, because that personalization is another product in itself, right? Like to gather this data. Yeah.
Yeah, if you wanted to go crazy, you could start asking students about their learning goals, their learning styles. You mentioned
Right.
earlier learning styles. You put all that stuff in to get a rounded view of the student.
Amazing. Perfect. Perfect.
I
Thank
think
you
it's
so
up to
much.
Ellie assess though, because it's Ellie's challenge. Ellie, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm quite impressed by what you did with the workflow. So the idea of using the AI to check all the test itself is quite efficient indeed. So that's a good idea to
Indeed.
start.
So we can't wait till you do it.
Sorry.
Send us the course link when you've done it, because it sounds really like it's a course I'd like to do.
Sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much for this detailed structure, for all the content you have generated here. I hope this has sparked some of your ideas and your interest in the topic, and that also the toolkit is of relevance. Of course, there may be some more out there in the market, and maybe also you can adjust it, add or remove some components to tailor it to your specific needs. Before we wrap up with the workshop, do you have any remaining thoughts, questions that you would like to discuss today? How you felt using the tool? Or the questions clear? Is it missing something?
I have a question about the availability of the tool. Is it openly published by the AppHaus?
Exactly.
Anyone can use it?
Exactly. So it's something amazing. It's actually the design team of SAP, or one of their design teams, and they have created it. They're actually eager to get our feedback. If you go and click on here on the right-hand side, I try to include the link of the toolkit. It leads you directly to the web page, and here you have essentially the whole workshop in its whole extent. Some suggestions how you can run it, the cards which you can download for free, even the mural. Well, in this case, we would use Meet, of course, so that you can put your own references. You can build your own workshop. All the PDFs. They update this also regularly. I just saw that they have some new components, and here they ask to share your story. So if you would like to share with them how you felt today using the tool with Miro community, feel free to do that. Perfect. So if there are no more questions, I would like to finalize the session with a quick retrospective, essentially to learn what you liked, what you learned in today's workshop, what you think was lacking, and what you wish we would have covered in the workshop. Let's spend quickly 5 minutes on this, and then we can wrap up in the group.
Do you want us to focus on the workshop or also just the content?
It's the workshop, essentially. And in the part of learned, I would say more in terms of, say, technique in itself. Yeah. But I would say just be free to share what you like to, how you feel, in which I think it's also interesting to learn in terms of the tool, what you liked about it or not.
Plus, for those who gonna finish the retrospective quickly, I'm also launching a quick feedback form in Zoom chat. So once you're finished with retrospective, please go to Zoom and answer 3 very simple questions that will also help us improve any upcoming workshops.
So it seems that everybody's done with this part in the very last section. So this is the end of the workshop. Thank you very much once again for participating. It has been a real pleasure exchanging this tool with you and learning from your experiences. I hope it has been useful to you as well. I would like to kindly invite you to visit our Miro community so that you can follow our next events and you can also get to know more about us. Maybe you can join us also as a community lead and run your own workshops with us. And of course, don't forget to visit the tool at SAP AppHaus website, and feel free also to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be very happy to remain in contact. Thanks a lot, and I wish you a very nice rest of the evening.
Yeah, thank you, Juhani. And again, a reminder,
Thank you.
please go to Zoom screen and just answer our simple questions with event evaluation.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thanks.
So, Johanny, are you with AppHaus or with Miro?
Actually, I'm with Miro. I'm a community lead here. It's, of course, a very interesting combination because AppHaus SAP is a different brand. But what I try to do is that I evaluate what our latest tools with product management, product design and discovery and launch. And I try to test them in the Miro community to see first what are the different components, get some new insights and even new product ideas as today. And then I get the insights and I bring that to my organization, my team. And then I already have this first-hand experience using the tool and can run next workshops on it. And equally for the participants is that their first experience with the tool, and they know that this exists and something, you know, that they can put as reference in their organizations as well. So there is no connection directly to SAP and Miro at the moment. It's just for the sake of testing the tool.
Right. So you're basically extending the content on the Miro platform by adopting valuable frameworks and bringing them into Miro.
Exactly. Yeah. Or using the platform itself, you know, the tool, you know, to bring people together, to use Miro as it is intended, to bring, you know, hybrid teams together. And then on top of that, of course, bring the content in terms of the tools and the product management and ideation session itself.
Very interesting. I envy your role.
Really?
Absolutely. I mean, in a very positive way. I think that having an opportunity to just explore frameworks and then adopt them into the Miro platform, that would be a dream job for me. If you need backup, I am in Amsterdam down the road. Miro is 1 kilometer that way.
Amazing.
That way. And the reason I mention it is because I love building boards and I love frameworks and I love building workshops and I love acquiring knowledge more than anything else. So one of my frustrations is I spend a lot of, well, I mean, I just love learning stuff. So I acquire large amounts of, like, how do you use Miro Assist AI? Oh, this is a framework for something for compliance for all different parts of business. But then I can't drive the same kind of client engagements to exploit all the exploration. So I always have an imbalance of I'm learning more than I can sell, or, you know, I can't get client engagements because you can't get client engagements in risk compliance, HR, AI, workshop design, and something else all at the same time because everybody wants to put you into a place, or, oh, you're the process guy, you're the compliance guy. So that's why I think your job is awesome.
Thank you very much for sharing. And yeah, let's keep in touch and feel free to attend any other Miro community events. Submit your templates to Miroverse. Shane, I'm pretty sure you have lots of wonderful boards just to be shared with the community and even getting the feedback that you deserve. And maybe one day we'll feature a webinar or a workshop hosted by you. I would love to do this.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, I have one more question. So there's an AI challenge this week. Right? It ended on Friday, 31st. Would you mind if we talked about taking these cards and AI firing them? And I've been looking for a challenge that I can publish with Miro Assist because I made some stuff, but the difference between exploring something and being playful with it and actually executing against a business problem is a gap. And this looks like a great business problem that I could easily execute on. Would it work for you if I just take these cards and then try do 1 or 2 into Miro Assist and see what happens as a Miro Assist workflow? Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yes, feel free to,
Because that'll be my
especially because we,
competition submission.
yes,
Yeah,
we
why
have observed your this use case and AI tool application. So it's completely yours. And yeah, although it's been a like group brainstorming and group discussion,
Right.
yeah, I believe the outcome that you've shared is completely your result.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
not
And
interested
also,
in sharing the outcome. I'm interested in sharing the mere AI automation of the tool as you demonstrated it.
yeah,
We
I
can
mean,
try.
I think it would be amazing if you would like to do that. Maybe you can mention in your submission that this was kind of like a result of your participation in this community event, and I think this could add, to the value and the visibility that you can get, because it's a combination of the two programs in Miro. So I think it would be interesting in some way to connect it or relate it.
Okay, if I can pull it together, because this is quite experimental. Would you mind if I just email it to you? I'll connect on LinkedIn and just email what I'm proposing to post, so you can give your opinion on it, how I might buff it up, because you're obviously the masters at making things more relevant to audiences.
Sure, I'll be very happy to support you. I mean, feel free to send me a connect invite on LinkedIn, and I'll be very happy to have a look and provide some suggestions, of course.
All right, no promises, but if I manage to achieve it, then I will publish it. If I don't manage to achieve it, then I might miss the competition, but it's still worth publishing.
It'd be very sad. Looking forward to it. And thanks a lot for joining us. And I look forward to hearing back from you, your feedback, and hopefully also attending one of your events in the future. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yep.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Joanne.
you.
Thanks, Natalie.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you,
Thank you.
Natalie.